Hello, everyone. Welcome to Get to Know Her. I am so happy to have you here. We have another exciting guest this week. I'm so excited for you to meet Lady Cox. Before I introduce her officially, I have a few things to go over. First of all, my outfit today, I've funked it up a little because, I have an artist on. So I did want to pair this outfit, though, with our favorite Brenda Badome and her lovely pants. These are her bootleg cut pants, which I love. They're awesome. I'm wearing my cowboy boots today with these pants and they feel great. And so if you haven't checked out our sponsor before, please do that. BrendaBadome.com, Canadian designer, absolutely amazing. She's also given us a special coupon code, Get to Know Her, and with that coupon code you will get 22% off of your order, which is awesome. And of course, our other sponsor, who else would it be but Glam Jewels? And by the way, that's where we're broadcasting from, the Glam Jewels studio here in Burlington, Ontario. So please go to my website, glamjewels.com. Check out our beautiful jewels. Mother's Day is coming up on Sunday, and we are doing curbside pickup. So if you want to shop for anything online, you can do that, and then just send us a note, and we'll arrange for a time that you can come and pick up either, sometime before Friday type thing. So let's get on with the show, shall we? This is so exciting. Today, you are going to meet Lady Cox. She creates prophetic, abstract expression portraits of the universe related to nature, astronomy, and energy fields of people and geography. Lady Cox is from Grand Prairie, Alberta, Canada. However, considers herself a citizen of the universe. Her stories and experiences have influenced every painting, every piece of clothing, and all collaboration that she has ever created. She has a fashion marketing background and is a strong supporter of local art, fashion, artists, designers, and the community. She has created art fashion shows and multiple collaborations for 18 years locally, as well as in Canada, Italy, and Paris. Lady Cox works in various mediums such as contemporary art, home decor, furniture, DIY, textiles, sculpture, clothing, and accessories. She also has a wearable art custom clothing line where the t-shirt is the canvas with her original artwork and pop art expressions. Lady Cox is an advocate for the Lgbtq community and the movement of harm reduction. She donates a portion of the proceeds from her clothing line to help build stronger communities and spread awareness to various local charities. Her art is her ministry. Creating art allows her to connect with people from all around the world. She hopes to inspire them along the way and to show people that you can use art as a tool for healing. Like any artist knows, the embodiment of one's work must first be lived. Lady is ahead of her time and is making her stamp on the world of art. She has been influencing the art stage in a very different way, hitting the ground running with a visionary, creative, and idealistic sense meshed into spirituality, connection, and execution. She is forging a new frontier on how art is viewed, shared, and experienced. She sets the stage for those to come and for those hoping to set themselves apart of what is to be considered an artist of this time. I met Lady Cox over a year ago online through a mutual friend of ours, Tiffany Pratt. I have followed her ever since. I have actually purchased a couple of her beautiful wearable art pieces as gifts. I need to get something for myself. I'm so excited to have her on today. We are going to bring her on screen right now. Here she is. Let's see, how's our internet doing, girl? Can you, Lady Cox, can you hear me? We were having some internet issues, but hopefully they will resolve.
Oh
I hear
my
something. There we go. I hear her voice.
I don't know. Let's see.
A little bit of an internet. These are the problems of the. Okay, I can hear you too. You're just frozen, but we'll probably get you back. Let's see. We can always edit this out, so no stress. Thanks everybody for hanging on. If you haven't guessed, it's our beautiful guest's birthday, and I'm just going to bring her on from another screen now. Here we go. Let's see how this works. Amazing.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you. I can see you.
We're having technical difficulties. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh,
Happy
girl.
birthday.
Thank you for the birthday.
Yay! Happy birthday. I'm so excited that you agreed to do the show on your birthday.
My phone's going off now. Just my phone just is going
That's
off.
okay.
Everybody's saying happy birthday since like, I don't know, 6 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, of course. It's like everything is going crazy. So this is good. Our internet should be okay. Right. You just turned off your other device, so we should be good.
Okay.
This is great. So, my darling birthday girl, we all want to know the number one question, and that is, what did little Lady Cox want to be when she grew up?
Always an artist. Yeah, I always knew I wanted to be an artist, and I always wanted to help people, and I didn't know how I was going to do that, but I'm doing it now, so it worked out.
You sure are doing it now. I'm so excited. And also, I wanted to ask you right up front, do you mind sharing with us what birthday you're celebrating today? What number are you?
I am 33 years old.
33?
That means
so happy to see you.
It's a big day. Like,
it is a big day. And I'm gonna
got off the phone with my mom and I said, I made it another year. Like,
yeah,
these last couple of years have been intense.
Oh my gosh. So okay. So you're turning 33 today. You always wanted to be an artist, and you always wanted to help people, which is awesome. Mm-hmm. I did a live broadcast yesterday, and I talked about how a lot of us artists, our worst subject is usually in high school can be art.
Oh.
And so I wanted you to, I'd actually said on the live, I wonder what Lady Cox's experience was with art in high school. If you got like 100, 90s and 80s, or if you struggled in that department as well, if your teachers accepted your ideas, or what was your experience like?
It's actually a really funny story. So I used to be highly involved in sports. I think it was one of my favorite things. It was more socially acceptable than, being an artist. There wasn't really any programs per se when I was a kid to be an artist or entrepreneur. So I played really high level sports for a long time. And so I would go to school in the morning, and then in the afternoon I would play sports. I was part of the soccer academy and sports academy. So I was always waiting for the lunch bell to ring. But I remember distinctively, I actually started in the fashion industry when I was 15. So I started doing fashion shows. So I was in high school, and I got my first, like, let's just say my first fashion show, and I knew that's exactly what I wanted to do in fashion and art and the art of fashion. And I remember falling asleep in all my classes. Like, I just, to be honest, I didn't want to be there because I knew exactly what I wanted to do. I didn't know how I was going to do it, or like what it entailed. But I remember my I think it was like bio 30 or something, and my teacher, um we had a test, and he was yelling at me that I needed to pay attention, and I said, I'm going to be an artist. This is what I'm going to do. I don't need your class to graduate. And he kicked me out of his class. And the teachers, like, and I went to two different high schools. I would always fall asleep in class, and the teachers would always send me into the art room. And the art teacher, I would spend all day in the art room. And to this day, my art teachers actually were my biggest mentors. And I actually made the Mask of Marilyn print while I was in high school. And my teacher taught me how to. I said, okay, her name was Mrs. Paskovich, in high school in grade 12. I said, I want to be a fashion designer and an artist, and I'm not making it in any of the other classes. So this is where I'm supposed to be. So can you help me? And I traced out the design, and I photocopied, and she helped me. She never told me that, you need to go to class and get good grades and you have to do all this. She said, okay, I'll help you. And then to this day, I still have that Mask of Marilyn print, and it's one of my best sellers. And that's how so I spent my classes in the art room. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Okay, I have to tell now here I feel like we're soul sisters coming together. I have to tell you.
Girl, I already knew that.
So when I was in grade 11, which would have been 1985,
Woo!
our art project, one of our art projects was that we had to stitch onto burlap. We had to learn how to stitch onto burlap, and we had to do a floral design. And I said, that's BS. I have no interest in, number one, burlap, ick, flowers, who cares? I want to do Marilyn Monroe. I want to do Andy Warhol's Marilyn Monroe.
Oh my gosh.
Giant Andy Warhol, Marilyn Monroe, and that's where my grade plummeted because my teacher said that is not what I asked for, and I turned it into a pillow with my mom's help, and so this is great. It's like my crappy story is your story of like mentorship and growth, and all with the Marilyn.
No, Andy Warhol was the inspiration, and the Mask of Marilyn, where it came out of was I was at that time closeted. I knew who I was, but I couldn't be myself because I had to be the athlete. I had to be, I wore all these masks, and you would never see Marilyn Monroe with a mask over her face because she was, in the spotlight. But, she did struggle with depression and addiction and stuff like that. And you never would know that she was going through those difficult times. So it was a metaphor for not having a voice and hiding who I was because I didn't know where to go, and that's where the Mask of Marilyn. And then over the years, it's been, I don't know, oh my gosh, like 18 years of this print. It's so many people have come up to me about the Me Too movement, the LGBTQ community, mental health. Like, it's had its own. I'm looking at the shirt. It's right in front of me on a mannequin. It has so many different things, and so many women and so many men and people don't have a voice. And using a pop culture reference, it gives it more of a staple that people can say, oh, I'm like that person too. So yeah, that's and that's actually how it all of this started, in the belief in myself, and believing to turn trauma into treasure, and
Right.
how you can use art as a tool for healing, and you can use it as a tool of self-expression. And that's what I do in the pop art and the prophetic art and everything that I do. So
So I would love it if you took us back to the days where you first created that design and you were in the art room working with your teachers. Were you able to be vulnerable with them? Did they
oh
know
yes,
where you were
yeah,
from and
yeah,
what?
and that's actually in high school.
Yeah.
I struggled with addictions and mental health, and it was a tornado. My mom is a 5-time cancer survivor, so she got cancer for the second or third time while I was in school. So I was also dealing with a lot of family crisis during that time. My dad was in and out of the hospital as well, and I had a number of friends, uh, very close friends and family members, pass away. It was just one thing after the other, and yeah, I was dealing with addictions and stuff in high school, and thought that partying and numbing myself would, make it better, or be part of the cool crowd, or and when I say shit hit the fan, no, none of those people were there for me. And to be honest, the people that were there for me were my art teachers, were my coaches, because my mom and my dad wasn't there. They were sick and dying at the time, and I'm so thankful for my sister, because my sister, she never struggled with addiction. She's actually a nurse at the detox downtown, and she's the exact opposite than me. She's like almost 6 feet tall. I mean, we're sisters and everything like that, but she was definitely a the rock in our family. And so I used art as my medicine. And whether I'm happy, I create art. Whether I'm sad, I create art. I don't really get sad. I get a little frustrated, but I'm always creating art, and I look back at those times and not cry. I smile, because I got through it. And yeah, and my teachers were always there for me. Like, even if they disagreed with me, they always knew, not in an ego way, that I was going to do something. And to this day, they're some of my biggest supporters. They've all bought my t-shirts.
Oh,
I remember it was like, uh, yeah, when I came out with the collection when I was in fashion school, I came back to Edmonton. I was in Olds College, and I sat down with my teacher, and she was one of the first people that bought the t-shirt. And it comes full circle. Like,
mhm.
it doesn't have to be all pain, you can really turn your life around with art.
Right.
So
So I'd love it if you would share that journey with us. So, in high school, you had those teachers there. Did the addiction stop after high school, or did
no,
it?
I struggled with addictions for over 10 years. Severe. It started with drinking, and then it progressed to hard drugs. And I am sober now, which is crazy, because my birthday was always it was always a party, right?
Yeah.
And the addictions went on for 10 years. It was my coping mechanism for the immense trauma. And the trauma happened when I was when I was very young. I lived in an addictive household, um, but it was prescription drugs, so it wasn't like alcohol or hard drugs. So it was something that was socially acceptable, or it was under the table. Like we never saw Dad drunk. He was just a little bit off. And my dad was an artist. He passed away a number of years ago, and I'm gonna start crying. Dang. My dad taught me everything. So yeah. So I
What kind of an
when my
artist?
dad
What?
he did like hot rod cars. He did
Oh,
like
cool.
yeah. So he's from Texas. So all like the rockabilly, hot rods, Barrett Jackson, muscle cars, motorcycles, all that kind of stuff.
Do, do you credit your dad for influencing you with pop culture, like with
Yeah,
the
so we grew up like around like the Big Boy, Rat Fink, Grease. My grandpa actually owned a drive-in theater, drive-in, like kind of like a McDonald's, kind of like with milkshakes and hamburgers and stuff like that. So we grew up like pop culture, like Betty Boop. All that was around us as kids. Elvis, Marilyn Monroe, all those pop culture, James Dean. So I grew up around that, and the brightest times in my life was when I would make a business. Like I used to sell. Yeah, I grew up with the old stuff, like my nickname was Popeye. So as a kid, so it was like Popeye, Rat Fink, Betty Boop, Grease, Hot Rods, Harley Davidson. Like next to the toilet, there was always Hot Rod magazines. So I like every like bat when we were in the bath, everything like that. Like I was always so like that's the thing. Like even though that there was severe trauma and hardship in my life, there was a lot of good. There was a lot of good, and even though my dad passed away suddenly a couple years ago, not due to addictions. His he got a blood clot to the leg. It was the wrong medication that they put him on, and he was sober at the time, and he was actually, we were like, oh, finally, like gonna he's going to he's gonna be okay. And just one day he just didn't wake up. So so that was the hardest time of my life. I went through a severe depression and addiction, and I stopped creating for 3.5 years. I gained about 100 pounds. I just was not myself. And that's when my hair is just all over the place. That's when I completely shattered, and the doctors gave up on me. They put me on so many different pills. Literally every time I went into the doctor's office, they put me on a different pill. This is why I'm a huge advocate for mental health, because a pill is not going to cure you at the end of the day. And I'm very happy to say that I'm sober now and I'm not on any pills. And yeah, I suffered severe seizures for 2.5 years, highly isolated, and all of this stuff nobody knew what was going on. but I kept. So when my dad passed away, I didn't paint. I didn't create. I didn't do anything for 3.5 years. I wasn't on social medias. Most people thought I was dead. Yeah, most people thought I passed away. So yeah, so fast forward
Yeah. So
9 years.
before you fast forward,
Yeah,
I'd love to know, um, like, that's a lot. That is a lot.
you know what, and the crazy thing is
Yeah.
that was my life. That was my reality. That's all I knew ever since I was a little kid. It was just I have said this to very close friends of mine and doctors and stuff, like my playgrounds, and not in a morbid way, but my playgrounds were hospitals and cemeteries. That's what I knew.
Mhm.
All I knew growing up was death and destruction. And so now I take very seriously my self-care, the people that are in my life, and I'm so glad that you're in my life.
Wow.
I really, really cherish every moment, every project, every conversation, everything,
Mhm.
and even the blessing to be able to do what I do, because I know how fast your life can completely crumble. And it happened over and over and over again. And I mean,
But
that's
but
the thing.
yeah, but what I would like to know is, in all of that darkness and in all of that obscurity and difference from maybe what you were seeing your peers experience growing up,
Mhm.
But where did you go to get help? How did you even know that there was a light at the end of the tunnel for you?
Well, I did. I did what the conventional, what everybody, what everybody in the natural realm says.
Right.
Go to a therapist, go to detox, go to rehab. Uh,
And was
you
that something that you decided you needed, or was that something that people were telling you you needed?
well, when I was younger, it was court ordered.
Okay.
Straight up, it was court ordered. It was so bad that I was at the point in my life where I couldn't help myself. So I remember distinctively one day I was working at a shop and a cop car came up and they grabbed me. I didn't know where the police grabbed me, threw me in the back of a car, and I didn't know where I was going, and I went to rehab facilitation by court order. It was because they don't, like, what I say is everything starts in the spiritual realm. So this is generations of trauma, not
Mm.
only myself but my family, and like what my family went through. That it just all hit me one after the other. And so I did. So I'm going to say I did everything that you were supposed to do,
Mm.
and it didn't and it didn't help. So when my dad passed away, give me 1 second.
Yeah, no problem. No problem. I'm gonna have a sip too. We can choke together.
I got a tickle in my throat. Oh, jeez.
I made a water with ginger in it, and
Oh,
I'm paranoid that I'm gonna put on a piece of ginger here.
sorry. We are
That's
live.
okay.
I'm gonna have you know what? This is what's happening. I'm having a little lozenge right now because this is just. Sorry, I gotta get this out. The people need to know this.
You
The
know
people.
What is that
People need to
therapy
know.
where you hear the sound? What's that called? That's what that reminded me of, the candy wrapper. What's that called? Oh gosh, I can't remember the. Do you know what I mean? It's like you just listen to these sounds and they soothe you.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about. Anyway, I'll think of it.
Okay, so here's the tea. Here's the tea.
Here's the tea. Spill the tea.
So, cheers, darling. Cheers. Cheers.
Cheers.
Okay, so we're back.
Yeah.
Okay, so I tried absolutely everything. And it was court ordered, it was forced, it was all that kind of stuff until I wanted help, like real help. That's when the journey came. So I couldn't get a job. Everybody's like, okay, so go to rehab, go to detox, go take all these pills, all these antidepressants, go to therapy, do this freaking circus, and then you're going to be healed. Everything's going to be fine. And then get a job and make this a certain amount of money, love this type of person, drive this type of car, have this type of job. Everybody was telling me who I had to be until I completely shattered when my dad passed away. Nobody would hire me. The doctors literally gave up. They were like literally flipping through all the book of prescription drugs, like what can we give her to fix her. And I was so numb and so messed up from the prescription drugs, and I cried out to God and I said, what am I gonna do? Like everything that's supposed to help, everybody gave up on me. And so I said, okay, I'm gonna go to church. I'm gonna start going to church. So I walked into the church and I sat at the back and I was terrified because I was like, I've tried everything and I've given it my all, and I'm not healing, I'm not progressing, I'm like stone. And little by little, the only thing that I could do at that point, like, everybody's like, oh, have this routine to be successful, and if you do these certain things, you'll be successful. If I could get up and go to the bathroom and maybe have a drink of water, that was a successful day. That's how bad it was. So I started my day off by doing a list. Even if I couldn't get out of bed, a list of 7 things I was grateful for. So I started that. That's what I started off with. And I said, doesn't matter what it is on Sunday, doesn't matter how good or bad my week is, on Sunday I'm going to go to church. And then I started going to church and started not just going to church for the religious aspect. I needed, because I was completely broken, I needed to be filled up. I needed to be filled up something other than the earthly realm. I needed to be filled up something other than what other people was telling me. I had to open up. So I started doing that. I started turning my life around. And fast forward, I said I actually went into the ministry. I got some serious help, Deliverance Ministry. And so good old exorcism. Yeah, did that. I needed help because I knew it wasn't just me. It was generations of generational curses. It was generations of trauma, generations of sickness. And I said, you know what? Everybody told me I was going to be a statistic, so I'm going to be the one that steps up to the plate and fixes this.
My God. Okay, this exorcism, this was...
You didn't know this interview was going to go this way, did you?
I love it. But was it an exorcism of the generational trauma? Like,
Yeah.
And so what can you tell us a little bit about what they did?
So what happened was I knew, okay, so when I said I wanted to be an artist and I wanted to help people. So I actually have worked and been in the ministry for years. So what happened was I had to learn the spiritual realm. I had to learn what actually happened to me, and the trauma. So I was this is really hard to say, but we're gonna just say it. It's what God wants. I was a victim of satanic ritual abuse. So I had to really get some help that not a medical profession could help with. There was nothing, no pill that was going to solve that. There was no doctor that was going to solve that, and it started in the spiritual realm. So I said, I want full healing, so I have to start in the spiritual realm and then work outward. So it might not be the path for most people, but for me, not only the drug abuse and the sexual abuse and the trauma and all that kind of stuff that I went through, I said I wanted to get real help, and that's where I got help. And like in the movies and stuff, when you talk about this really, really dark stuff, it was very gentle. There's specific prayers. It's basically just like me and you having a conversation, and then you go through the different levels of generational curses, different levels of there's these things called altars. So I don't know if you've heard of them, but basically when you go through a trauma, you have this thing called a spirit man or a spirit woman. It's your core soul. It's you whole. But when you go through trauma, there's a part of you that breaks off. Well, not breaks off, but becomes like a shield. And if you've gone through a lot of different traumas, you become these different shields. So what I learned, this is the tea, when I went through the ministry, Deliverance Ministry, there's no such thing as bipolar. There's no such thing as depression. There's no such thing as mental illness. There's no such thing as all of this. It's actually an altar. And when you go through the Deliverance Ministry, you integrate these altars, and then you do not have these symptoms or these personalities. And so I went through that, and so that's how I healed.
That's incredible. I can't say that I will ever interview anyone again who has healed in the way that you have.
Oh man,
it's
intense.
Yeah. How brave.
It was hard. It was the hardest thing I ever had to do, because to fully heal, you have to be completely honest. And then when you really want to help people, it's not about yourself. And when I did that, I knew that I'm going to start crying. That I was doing it for me. I was doing it for my family, and I was doing it for future generations, because a lot of people don't know why they're sick. They don't know why they're hurting. And that's what spiritual warfare is about. And that's why I do prophetic art. That's why I do art, because it's the purest form of love. It's the purest form of language, because you could go to China, you could play a song in China, or you could, and people know what that is. And so that's how I healed. That's why I create art.
That's incredible. I want to know as well, we were talking about it a little bit backstage. Why are you advocating for the LGBTQ community? where is the passion coming from?
So I'll tell you a story since we talked about
Yeah,
Deliverance
it's
Ministry.
all about storytelling, man.
Well, I am part native, so we are storytellers, right? So
Yeah.
I remember. Okay, so the people that were in the Deliverance Ministry with me, they're like priests. They are holy people. You know, they are very well-to-do people. Like, there's nothing that they could do wrong. Like, they not that they're like picture perfect or whatever, but you know, like they're contributors of society. They help people on so many different levels. And there was always that thing that, you know, that I'm gay. So like, even though I have spiritual gifts and I have natural gifts, like I could never be like them or be accepted by them because they're the church, right?
Right.
And so there was always a bit of this disconnect, and a lot of people have come up to me and they're like, you know, Jamie, like you do art, you know, you're an advocate for the LGBTQ, but you always go to church, you always, you know, you're always at the church. Like how is that possible? And growing up, not only because I was out, like I said before in our little preview, you're basically told your life is a mistake. Doesn't matter what you do, your life is a mistake. So like, you could make more money, you could hang out with certain people, you could, you know, love a certain person a certain way, but because you were born this way, you're a mistake. And I am a huge advocate for the LGBTQ community and mental health, and just, let's just say people in general, because it's not just the LGBTQ. It could be racism. It could be where you live, what color of clothes you wear, you know, kind of lipstick you wear. It could be absolutely anything. And it's just an attack. It's just the enemy basically saying that you're not worthy, which is a complete lie. But like I said, I've said to so many people, I keep it really simple. I could go on and on and go on about spiritual warfare, and how that works. But God doesn't make mistakes. At the core of it, he does not make mistakes. If he has made the galaxies, the planets, the oceans, every creature, you think that he would say, when he created you, this is my personal point of view, that he's just gonna half-ass it and say, you know, this is just not my best work. Like,
Exactly. It's so ridiculous. Yeah.
So
it's true.
I always say that people have a purpose. They have to find that. Art is, everybody's an artist. Doesn't matter what they are. They could be an artist in food. They could be an artist in writing. They could be, it's not just painting. Because a lot of people come up to me and say, "Oh, you're an artist. What do you draw? What do you paint?" You know? And I say, well, I do lots of different things. And then so many people I've talked to, they say, you know, I'm not an artist. And I said, do you draw? Do you write? Do you cook? Yeah, I do. Well, that's a form of art. And they're like, their eyes light up. So speaking about the ministry on the story, when I knew that I was at the right place at the time and that I'm not a mistake, was I was in Deliverance Ministry. We were full blown into a session. Actually, I think it was the third session. It's not just a wham bam, thank you, ma'am, just one time thing. It has to be done. The spiritual realm is like a law court. So you have to say the certain things in a certain way and do things in a proper order. And plus, it's very exhausting. So this is probably my third session, and and we kept going at it. We kept going at these altars, and we got to the point where they asked me, like they kept saying, is there any, because I wanted it all out. I'm like, like this, I'm done with this crazy shit. Like I want whatever this is. It's not just one thing. It's there are demonic influences, there are entities, there are generational curses, but there's also like altars. And I said, I want to be fully integrated. I want to be my whole self and not have all these huge defense mechanisms and these habits and these traits, because I've been so hurt and broken that I can't fully give myself or trust, because I got hurt. So I knew instinctively the whole gay thing was going to come up. So we were at the last, it was the last session. Haven't had any since then. So I said, you know what? We call them like the surgeons. So they come in, they're angels. They come in and they integrate the altars. And I said, I'm done. Like we've been going at this for hours. Like we're done this. And they asked about me being gay, and we were talking and we were praying about it, and it was quiet and there was nothing that came out. And I collapsed on the floor and I said, I'm gay, and I don't want to go to hell, and I don't want to stop healing and stop helping people. And they all surrounded me and said, just because you're gay doesn't mean we don't love you any less.
Oh my God. That's incredible.
And they said, the session's done.
Oh,
and that was it.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Jamie, my God, that must have been so validating for you too, just to feel love.
It wasn't even that I was seeking validation. It was like, if the highest priest, if the highest realm in the darkest time in Deliverance Ministry, like it's radical. It's not something you mess around with. If I'm standing in the court and saying this is who I am, and not having to say that I'm not anymore, then I'm okay. Sorry, I didn't think I was gonna cry, but so that's why I'm a huge advocate for faith. I'm a huge advocate for spirituality and God, and because the only thing that got me through life was my faith and art. It was the only two things through all of that. So
amazing. Yeah. And I want to quote you, because when we were doing our sound check, one of the things you said is that you paint through the pain, and I just love that. I think that's it really is so magical how, like you say, you don't have to pick up a paintbrush to be an artist. We are all creators. We all create things, and everybody has something. Well, at least I hope so. I hope everybody can find that one thing where when you are in action and you are having this experience, it actually takes you out of this realm almost, right? Like you get so lost in it. Like oftentimes we talk about how you don't feel any sense of time. You don't feel, you realize oh my God, my mind was shut off. I wasn't worrying about things. Like it's such a healthy and beautiful form of meditation. And sometimes it can take a long time to get into that mode because we're always judging ourselves, right? So I wanted to ask you that as well. When you are creating a piece of art, how do you get into the mode Jamie, where you're not like doing that judging stuff, you know, and sort of sabotage yourself before you.
I mean, I always, if you look at my house right now, I always have like tea, incense. I mean, I have my atmospheric, you know, things that I do. I call them quick fixers. Like, I also do that if I'm in a low frequency state where, you know, around people, places, and spaces that I'm not, you know, that are kind of pulling at my energy. I have these things in my hand or in my mind and or pocket where I call them the quick fixers to transform that energy. And I use that in my house and in to create a sacred space. But there is one prayer that I say constantly to get me in the right mind. One thing that I've learned over the years, that it's not my will. Like, so many times I look at my life when I didn't have a prayer life, and I was like, this is how my life is going to be. This is how I think that this painting is going to be. This is how I want it to look. And, you know, God is way bigger, has way bigger plans than I could ever imagine. He always provides, and he will give me the right tools and everything that I need to create, to connect, collaborate, to do anything. So there's one prayer that I say all the time, and I say it every morning and during the day, especially if I'm in difficult situations, is God, I ask for your wisdom, your discernment, your direction, your instruction, your clarity, and to mature the fruits of my spirit so I may lead and bring glory to you. And I say that all the time, so it gets me in the right headspace, provides me the tools, the insight, the discernment of, you know, what is real, what is not, what is my life, what is a false prophet spirit, whatever it is, so that I know exactly that I'm doing the right thing at the right time. So that's how I get started. And then I have certain music that I listen to. And I stay constantly connected when I'm creating.
That's beautiful. Do you call on your dad?
My dad's always around.
Yeah.
My dad is always around. I will get little glimpses of him there, here or there. He always wore a baseball cap and jeans and like a cowboy. He dressed with cowboy boots. He used to shine his cowboy boots for 3-4 hours. Like, I see him all the time. I know that he's proud of me. And the thing is I'm carrying on his legacy. He was the most talented artist that I've ever seen. And that's why I advocate on everything that I do, because whatever your purpose or your soul code, or, you know, there is a place in this world for you. And my dad went through a lot of trauma and a lot of pain, and he didn't know how to deal with it. And his life was cut short. And I've seen that with so many people, and it's like, it's temporary, even though the pain can be completely debilitating. And I mean debilitating because I've been there. If you have breath in your lungs, you can pray, and you can get up and be grateful. You can write 7 things down, and that's how you can start. And I literally had to learn from my father, learn from my family, learn from the people around me, how to literally start breathing again. And how I did that was through art, one paint stroke at a time. Yeah.
Beautiful. And at the beginning of the interview, I was joking with you a little bit about your generation, right?
Oh,
But it's true. This is the wonderful thing about you and what you've done today for my viewers on this talk show is that you
well, they got
have,
some juice, that's for
yeah,
sure.
they got some juice, but you've also you're making a stand for all kinds of things. You're making a stand for being able to talk things through, even if somebody is watching and is not religious, and it
That's
doesn't matter. It's you're getting rid of, you're helping people to feel uplifted, and you're lifting away the shame, because in your dad's generation, in your mom's generation, my generation,
Yep.
like, I love you guys because I'm like, that's what I always wanted to say. That's the way it should have been for us. Why the hell did, like, so you go back and you see all these generations, and there's a lot of emotion. There's anger towards people. There's like, how the F could they have done this to me? And
Yeah.
there's all of this stuff, but then as we examine it, and somehow, if we can take the emotion out of it, we gain an understanding, because we see people weren't talking about it back then. There was no place for them to go. There was nowhere for them to heal. And so by doing this, I want you to know how amazing and incredible you are. And I also want you to know that not only are you healing yourself and future generations, you're actually healing that generation who has passed, whether they are living or not.
Yeah.
Your healing is everywhere. So you're amazing.
And it's hard, like when I think you were talking about, as artists we get in our heads, and I think that's everybody, but one thing that I learned, if you want to start your life or start a journey, I talk to people that are incredibly sick, and I said, you have to forgive yourself first. Everything starts with forgiveness. And when I went into Deliverance Ministry, when I went into talk to Native elders, or different things, or even in art, like what is it? There's no mistakes. There's just happy beginnings, or something. I can't remember.
Yeah.
Bob. I can't remember his name.
Oh yeah, Bob Ross.
Well, Bob Ross. There's no mistakes. There's only, and
Yeah.
I think you have to and it's the hardest thing. You have to forgive yourself. And when you forgive yourself for all those shitty things, but the thing is when you're dealing with hurt and pain and anxiety, you're vibrating at that certain frequency, and your decisions will be at that frequency. So when you get to a better place, you have to be like, I was just at a different state of mind. I wasn't a bad person, or all these things that we tell ourselves. But any time you feel you're not worthy, or you're not making it, or you're a mistake, or you're not pretty enough, or you don't have enough money, you just have to check yourself and be like, that's not me. That's just an enemy attack. That's not my truth. I hear you, but I'm not going to consume it. And when you do that, you can shift the energy the way that you want to happen. So
Oh, that's beautiful. I love you, girl.
I love you too.
You're amazing. This has been so great. I'm so grateful for all your time, and especially on your birthday. My God, this is wonderful. And it's so funny how, all our technology stuff, but it's okay. Maybe the spirits were all coming around.
I said to myself, the enemy does not want me to talk about this. This is why everything's powering down. And I said, you know what? I'm just going to keep it simple. I'm going to block everything, and I'm going to turn on my data, turn on my phone, because I know that this message needs to be heard, because there is so much suicide out. There's so much opiate crisis. There's so much mental health. There are people dying left, right, and center. And if somebody just told them that they're loved and somebody believes in them, then we would have more people around. So that's why I do what I do. So, you know.
Oh, that's so great. Keep doing it. You're incredible. I'm so excited to watch your business grow and flourish and all of
Yeah.
the incredible stuff you're doing. I'm really excited. And for anybody watching, I just ordered the coolest David Bowie shirt from
Oh
Lady
yes,
Cock for my
it should be
husband.
in this week. So
Okay, no worries.
I'm rushing the orders. Everything I do is custom. So when somebody
Yeah,
orders something, it takes at least 3 weeks to make, right? So,
yeah.
but
No,
it's gonna be there right away. So
yeah. Oh, it's so great. I love all of your work and thank you for explaining Marilyn Monroe too. That is quite the story. That's
oh yes,
yeah.
it's yeah, you just have to, you know what? No, when you're doing you, like most people, I would say probably 99% of the population is not going to agree with you, not going to believe in you. And when you can feel it in your soul and say, you know what, I need to birth this creation, this idea because it's never been done before.
Mhm.
That is what we need in our world. We need more inspiration. We need more people creating art, more people connecting through art and sharing their stories and connecting and healing together. Because like if I didn't, oh my gosh, my nose is running. If I didn't go through all that trauma,
Yeah.
I wouldn't have made all this cool art. I wouldn't have met you. I wouldn't have met Tiffany. I wouldn't have met so many people,
Yeah.
you know? So you have to, you know, it sucks. It happens, but you just, all I gotta say is just create more art. Just go for it. Just.
Oh, that's great. You know what? I actually, you just reminded me of something I did want to ask you about.
Yep, sure.
So, um, I'm going to say your generation again. I keep saying that now. Your generation. No, but
Generation.
you guys.
Generation.
So I watch like you guys are like rocking out the reels, the the Instagram lives, like all of this stuff. And I feel like I don't know what it is, but like I come to work, I come to my studio, I got my list of stuff to do, then I get distracted with other things because hey, that's what we do as artists, especially.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, how the hell does anybody have time to do a reel? And even on the weekend when you were like getting ready for my interview with Monica and you did that post of your laptop, I just copied you. I was like, that's a great idea. I'm going to do the same thing.
Yeah.
You know, but you're always you're very aware of, well, this would be interesting to my audience. This would be interesting to my audience. And I feel like that's an area where I'm kind of lacking. Like I just do my stuff, but I don't record it. Or what's the magic? Is there? Or just have to do it?
So I number one, I do take care, like I have my sanctuary, I have things that keep my energy really high. So I have to keep my self-care in check. Always have my tea, I have my music, my incense, all these different things. I have that stuff in check so that I can perform and be able to connect with people and be present. But one, I have like a formula. So on my phone, I have like all my hashtags and everything saved in notes. So if I'm doing a print shop video or a t-shirt video or a t-shirt post or even a selfie or whatever it is, I have those actually saved. And then if I'm going to a place like a business or I'm having coffee or I'm connecting with somebody, every time I'm like connecting or I'm feeling inspired, I like to share that with people because that actually overflows to my life. So as an artist, I think it's a very important what I found that people love the creative process. You know, everybody says, oh, I want to just show the end part. But growing up watching you're from Toronto, so
Yeah.
Jeannie Becker from
Love
Fashion
her.
Yeah, so I
Yeah.
did a fashion show with her once in Calgary, and I loved growing up watching fashion television and seeing the behind the scenes, the interviews, the gritty, not selfie filtered, hyper reality. I want to see the good stuff. So whatever you're creating, it doesn't need to be the prettiest of the pretty, because that's not what life is. It's a mess. Let's be honest. Like, it's a mess. So show yourself and show the creative process. Like, show your day, show where you're going, who you're meeting, things that inspire you, colors. If somebody writes you a nice love note, share that, and they say, oh, don't share everything. Well, you don't have to share everything, just the things that really give you joy. It could be a picture of your dog or your cat, or a good cup of coffee that you had, or a book you're reading, something that allows people to see your inner world, because then the exterior world is your product, and they want to know that journey. And I find that the more that you know about an artist, one of my favorite artists is Lady Gaga, and she's unapologetic about her mental health, her creative process, who she is. And I think people need to be unapologetic about who they are, and show themselves. And so show your morning routine, just a quick snap. It's only 15 seconds, and
I know. Right.
you don't have to be on your phone all the time at all. But if you just show a little bit of yourself, and you can take it in like little increments, like try a little something that works for you. Something that really works for me, that really a lot of people love, is I'll call it social proof. So in marketing, it's called social proof. So somebody wearing your jewelry, somebody, you mailing the jewelry, you at the post office, you designing the jewelry, and you wearing the jewelry, because you are the brand. People buy you, then they buy the art. And people don't buy products, they buy dreams, they buy emotions. And when you're because a lot of people are like, sell, and when people get to know you on a personal level, it's like having a conversation with that person, and they say, I want to be a part of their world. And that's why people love music so much. That's why people love art so much. So I don't know if that answers your question.
I love it. No, it totally does. And I love this notion about that people buy you, because, when you're talking about getting ready for your day and these little rituals you have and setting up your beautiful sanctuary, like your art is a part of somebody else's sanctuary, because they know you and because your message resonates with them. And so there again is the passing of the healing also, which is so beautiful.
And whether it's big or small, they get a part of your life. They get a part of your consciousness. That's why it's important to stay as present as possible, because like there was this guy that had, I don't know if you want to end on this or what, but he had a towel that was full of water, like a wet towel, and he used the analogy of like wringing out the water. And that's what life is. You want to give it your all. You want to get every last drop out, and you want to show people your story. That's why when we were talking about spirituality, Deliverance Ministry, about the LGBTQ, I'm like, okay, we're just gonna go for it, because that's how I knew that I was healed. That's how I knew that I was okay. That's how, because I meet so many people that are just don't know where to go, right?
Mhm.
And I tried everything, and I'm like, you're gonna ask that question? Okay, I'm gonna share the darkest points of my life because I'm at the brightest point of my life now. And how did I get there? Well, this is how I got here. These are the golden nuggets. And it's
Mhm.
scary being yourself. It's scary because you can read all these books. You can read, all these formulas about, to be successful or whatever. But until you actually live it and find out what works for you, then
Mhm.
you don't. That's why I'm saying, like, play around with it. Like,
Yeah.
play around with it, because
Okay, I'm upping my game thanks to you.
okay,
I will.
okay, so
You're going to monitor me.
I'm gonna monitor
Yeah.
you, and if you need any help, let me know. But life, so I talk to a lot of different people, and I do mentor people with art that just want to start something. I said, well, life is a series of experiments. The more experiments you do, the better you get. That's all it is.
Yeah.
That's it. There's no right or wrong. There's no, this is the straight path. If I do this many calls, this is how many sales I'm gonna get. You have to figure out what works for you, because that's the secret sauce, as Tiff says. Like,
Yeah.
that's what makes you unique, and that's what people want. That's why there are signature brands like Cartier and Louis Vuitton. You know exactly what you're buying. You know exactly what it is. And that's what you want to do for your life. You want to make a signature and a stamp on this world. So you got to play around. Like, have fun. It's not work.
I
It's
love
fun.
it.
Yeah.
I love it. I love it. I love it. All right, my friend, before you go, wait, once again, now you can see it better, probably.
Oh, there we go.
Happy birthday.
Thank you. Thank you.
I hope
Thank
you have
you.
the most amazing rest of your day. I'm going to put you in the virtual
I don't
green room.
know. I feel, I don't know, weird. But
So you're 33 today?
yes, I'm 33 years
Cool.
old.
That's awesome. So we're exactly 20 years apart, because I'm going to be 53 in August. So you're born in 89.
Yep.
Yeah.
89.
My mom's born in 39, and she always said that the good, all the kids with nines at the end of their year are good kids. So welcome to the good kids.
Then I'll stick with that.
Yeah. All right, my love. I'm going to put you in that virtual green room. I will be with you in a minute. Thank you so much.
No worries. I love you.
I love you too. Oh, thank you guys so much. Thanks for hanging on. I am going to be uploading this lovely interview to YouTube. It'll be up there in the next couple of days. I'll be sure to let you know. Thank you so much for tuning in. Be sure to check out our sponsor, Brenda Badome, at brendabadome.com. Get yourself a pair of nice fitted black pants like I'm wearing today, and use the coupon code Get to Know Her for 22% off of your order. Grab yourself some glam jewels to complement your outfit at glamjewels.com. I will see you back here next week. Thank you so much, and keep on showing the world your sparkle. Bye for now.